We're going to be working on page 401, lesson 34, writing and graphing inequalities in real-world problems. So what we're going to do is they're going to give us a statement, and then we're going to write the inequality, meaning symbols, and then we're going to graph the possible solutions. Let's look at the first one. Caleb has at least $5. The word that you want to concentrate on is the word at least. What does the word at least means? Does it mean that Caleb has less than $5 or more than $5? Caleb has at least $5, meaning Caleb must have $5 or more. The word at least gives us the option of maybe he might have $5 or more. So how are we going to do that in a graph? We are going to do a fill in circle, and then we're going to go to the greater numbers, which is $6, $7, or $8. Another hint that you might want to consider is anytime that you have the inequality symbols with no line on the bottom, they're considered empty circles. But if you have the equal sign on the bottom, that means your answer, it's also part of the solution. And in that case, you're going to have the circle completed in the inside, symbolizing that your answer, it's also a solution. That whatever number you have might also be a solution. Let's look at the next one. Tarek has more than $5. So the keywords that we're going to be looking at is more than. If Tarek has more than $5, what does it mean? Does he have 4 or does he have 6? But we know more than $5 means, so we have $5, oops, 1 second. $5 or more. I'll use a T for Tarek. The variables that you use, unless they tell you, you can use any variable. Now let's graph our inequality. We know that it's going to be an empty circle, so we're going to go where 5 is, empty circle. And where is the T going? The T is going to the biggest number, so it has to go again to the biggest number. If you notice, they're very similar in terms of the $5, but one, it's at least. The answer, you might get $5. Over here, you get more than $5. 5 is not included. Let's look at the next one. Vanessa has at most $5. Vanessa has at most $5. Vanessa has at most $5. And your keywords here were the word at most. At most $5 means that the answer is included. Included. So we're going to go back and look at 5. The answer is included, but since it's at most, we got to go to the smaller numbers. So Vanessa might have $4, might have $3, but not more than $5. Let's look at the next one. Li Shan has less than $5. Let's use the variable L. Li Shan has less than $5. So that means less than $5. We're gonna, 5 is not included, so we're just gonna highlight going to the less numbers, which is 4, 3, 2, or 1. I do wanna just emphasize something on the side so you guys don't get confused. I usually have students saying, oh, so if the symbol is this direction, I color it this direction, and that has nothing to do with it. This problem right here can also be written if you have the 5 and then you have the symbol facing the variable. If you notice, when you think of Pac-Man, Pac-Man is eating the variable. So even if you have this kind of inequality symbol, as long as the symbol is still eating the variable, that means it is the same thing. If you're thinking in terms of Pac-Man. Now this one, we are doing the Pac-Man math in the variable. So another way you could have write it, it could have been the T, and then the greater than, and then 5. Those two still mean the same. So please make sure that you are learning how to interpret the symbol correctly. We might have the 5 here, and then the inequality symbol going towards the 5, and then the V. Those still represent the same thing. Okay, so always pay attention to which way the inequality symbol is facing. Those are all equivalent expressions and mean the same thing. Now let's look at example number 2. Kelly works for quick oil change. If customers have to wait longer than 20 minutes for the oil change, the company does not charge for the service. The fastest oil change that Kelly has ever done took 6 minutes. Show the possible customer wait times in which the company charges the customer. Okay, if you have to read the problem again, you may do that. Here we say that waiting longer than 20 minutes, it's going to give you a free oil change. But here we want to know the all possible customer wait times where the company charges you. So here we go. How many you see for customer? And we want to know when you get charged. So that means in order for you to get charged, you have to wait less than 20 minutes. So we're going to say less than 20 minutes. 20 is included. And you can get your oil change in less than 20 minutes, you will be charged. If you wait 19 minutes, 18, 17, 16, any of these times, you will be charged. Remember that the fastest that Kelly had was 6 minutes right here. So that's still where she got charged for an oil change. And don't forget the other equivalent expression where 20 can be first, the inequality symbol facing 20 still, and then the C. That really will help you understand that these two are equivalent and that the direction of the symbol has nothing to do with where you're going to be shading in your number line. Let's look at example number 3. Gurnas has been mowing lawns to save money for a concert. Gurnas will need to work for at least 6 hours to save enough money, but he must work fewer than 16 hours this week. Write an inequality to represent this situation, and then graph the situation. Once again, we're going to go back and look for keywords, and we know that he's saving money for the concert, but he must work fewer than 16 hours this week. So let's go ahead and get, we'll say H for hours. So we'll say H for hours. H for hours, and we know he wants to work fewer than 16 hours. So fewer means 16 is the greatest, but 16 is not included. Don't forget your equivalent inequality where 16 can be first, and again the inequality symbol is going towards 16 where H is less than 16. So now let's graph it. 16 is not included, and we need to go less than 16. But it's important that we remember that they told us that he needs to work at least 6 hours, so he cannot work less than 6 hours. So at least means right here, right there. So that means we have to do 6 hours here or more. So this should be 6 hours or more. So that means he can work at least 6 hours, but less than 16. So his solutions here are limited. It could be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15. If you're talking in half an hours or decimals, you can also say 14 and a half, 13 and a half, or 6 and a half, as long as it's more than 6 hours, and less than 16 hours. And if you look at your symbol here, it says that 6 hours can be included, but it has to be more, and 16 hours has to be less, and 16 is not included. So if you notice, we have for at least 6 hours, we have the circle bubbling or coloring, and then 16 hours was not included, so we don't have the line on the bottom, and your circle is empty.